Take 8. My cinematography skills are trash. I'm just gonna say that again at the beginning every time. So if I fuck this story up, please forgive me. It's hard to remember because it was about 5 years ago, and I waited until now really to post it because it was kind of a, I'm lazy, but it was also a personal story between me and a really good friend who aren't friends anymore. And I guess I'll just start by saying I don't condone the use of any illegal substances at all. Like, you should, yeah. Anyways, so I'm a pretty good stoner and L head. And usually when I take LSD, it's like two, three hits just for normal sakes because that's where I started when I began. I had two hits. That was my safe place. And if I took more, it wasn't hard for me to handle. But this time, me and my friend Hippie, we decided to get two hits because things were going good for us right now. I had gotten a job. He had been doing really well in selling his weed. Things were becoming easier for us. So we decided to take some, sit out in the apartment because it was summertime. It was way too hot. We were going to day trip, but we weren't going to trip out, in the sun and lose our fucking minds, which probably would have been a better idea because I realized when you trip and you're outside, you're wasting a lot more energy and your trip may be over sooner, but at least you weren't stuck in a house. Sometimes it's not a good thing. But we get inside, we take the tabs, and I usually leave my tabs in my mouth the entire time that I'm tripping. And this is a key point in the story because it anchors me to what's happening. And there's not much that I can usually use to anchor me because when you're tripping, sometimes it's hard to keep track of things. And if something's in your mouth, it's kind of hard to lose it, especially if it's under your tongue. And you have cotton mouth because you're smoking weed, so you're probably not swallowing it anyways. But we took it around 4 o'clock, and I hadn't smoked in a long time. Like I took like a 3 month break because for some reason I just wanted to get my head straight and just stop being that person. So he was packing the bong and rolling blunts to prepare because no one likes rolling when you're tripping because it's you start getting frustrated, you start giggling and laughing, and you forget about shit. While he's doing that, I'm putting on a video game or good music or whatever. It was so long ago I can barely remember, but I was kind of setting the ambiance for the environment, which was kind of something we both really respected because at the end of the day, the environment's really what helped me kind of stay sane and sober. Well, not sober, but sane. And we were setting everything up, and we smoked a little bit, and it kind of set me over the top. Um, by like 5 o'clock, which was like almost 2 hours in, I was 5:30 or whatever. Let's say it's around that. I start really tripping. It starts really setting in, and I can't stay awake. For some reason, the L is like too much for my brain, and I'm stoned and I'm happy, but like ugh, I keep clocking out. Like it was really shitty. But I was on a couch, a huge couch, so I just laid down, you know, and just said fuck it. Got a blanket and got comfy. He put on TV, not TV shows, but just like good YouTube music, vibed out, chilled out. Hippie was always a really good viber. He didn't need much to have a good time, so I could really appreciate that about him. So with me passing out, he was cool up until like the fourth time that I passed out. And this was like around like 6 or 7 o'clock. The sun's getting ready to go down. So by the time I think like the last time I woke up, he was in the corner meditating because he was worried about me that I wasn't gonna be able to handle it and I was gonna be freaking out. But I don't remember what happened, but I remember just being like, bam, being like, fuck that. Nah, I have to be up. Like I got up and got ready for the trip, and he was happy. He talked about feeling bad vibrations while I was knocked out, and I never really got that while I was knocked out. I just felt nothing. So that was probably just on him. But things did start feeling weird after that. So he might have had a good point, anyways. But he starts packing the bong and lights a blunt. And this is probably where things start going south because we start playing video games. And pretty sure we're playing Marvel versus Capcom, which is super dope when you're fucked up. Like I probably said or didn't say, this is like my seventh or eighth take. Iron Man's super cannon is dope when you're fucked up because it looks amazing. He pulls out like 10 cannons and just like blasts the whole screen, and your opponent's definitely dead if you time it right. So we're playing that, we're smoking, and I'm pretty sure this is where I was getting ready to peak. And since I was really trying to keep myself awake, I was kind of like in a headspace that was like pushing away whatever was keeping me tired. Um, this is where things started getting hard because I started getting stuck in a loop, and I think this is what fucked it up because we stopped playing a video game, which was kind of like keeping me in the zone. You know, the configurations of all the combos and shit you have to use keep you from focusing on your atmosphere and what's going on. And once we stopped doing that and started smoking again, listening to good music, I started getting into the cycle loops of the similarities and things happening. And usually I know they're happening, especially that time in my life. I knew time loops were my problem, so I was always trying to do something different so I didn't get stuck in a time loop. And I just kind of couldn't help it because I'm a deep thinker, Aquarius, if that helps anybody. I'm a really deep thinker. Sometimes I literally wake myself up thinking, which isn't bad because I don't mind it. I really like it. You know, give me a problem, I'll solve it. It's just what I am. I started really deep thinking, and what was going through my head was something I had read. When you take things in through your eyes, it's kind of like a camera. They come in upside down and they get put right side up. That thought fucked me up a lot. I just kept thinking about it and thinking about it, and like, why does my brain do that? Why is it retarded? Like, these things are opposite. I don't fucking get it. So I kept rolling through it, and as that was happening, it was like a really dangerous thought. I could feel like my brain gripping on it and not trying to let it go. So the loops started, and they got bad, and they got so bad that I wasn't able to stop them at a certain point. I lost control. Sorry, hold on, I think someone's home. This is a bad story to tell when siblings come home because. Okay. It's. I lost control of my loops. And at first, I started freaking out because I didn't know they were loops. And then finally, when I figured out what was happening, when I was coming towards the end of a loop, I told him, I was like, dude, I don't know what's going on with me, but it's obviously something personal, and I'm tired of these loops happening to me. I think it'd be better if you just left so I could figure this out on my own because I can't hurt you, I can't hurt anybody, and I'm definitely not going to hurt myself. Like, I like being alive. That's just me. Like, I'd rather live through my life regardless of how shitty it is. Shitty it may be perceived. Whatever. So, we, pound it. He says, we say, I love you, man. It's definitely one of those, like, I really hope you're going to be okay. And I hand him my skateboard, and I'm like, just get at it. Go have the time of your life. I don't want you to waste your trip. And one thing that was fucking me up before he left was this took some time to happen. So, told you like 5 o'clock, 5 or 6 o'clock, I woke up. The sun was getting ready to go down, so we were having a good time until the sun went down and it got dark. And the birds stopped chirping, cars stopped driving by, action stopped happening, and the life became very small and perceivable and predictable. And this was probably like 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was summertime, so like the sun was up now, and I can't say 4 o'clock in the morning. It was like later in the morning, like when the sun was starting to come up, and I wish I had told this part before, but before he left, I kept hearing the same motorcycle drive down the road, and it was fucking me up. And the sun was coming up, but it would come up and then stop. And then the sky would still be blue, but it would stop getting brighter. It would start getting dimmer, and then it would start getting brighter again. And then the motorcycle would drive by. And that's the part that was fucking me up because I knew I was in a time loop, but I didn't know where it started and where it ended. I just knew that those two things were happening, and I didn't know what the fuck to do. So when I finally came to it, game the board, pounded, love you man, gotta go. I decided to sit down with myself and figure this shit out. And at the time, I didn't have a significant other. So I was thinking about somebody, and that was kind of helping me roll out of it. It was a special person. I used to call her my sunshine before we started dating. So I started linking those things together and using that as an anchor to kind of like navigate out of it. But it was hardly working. Like I had this sun medallion on my neck, and I was just drawing to whatever conclusions to see if I could find an exit. And I didn't know what to do. I was really stuck. I thought I was really fucked this time because not only had my trip lasted more than 8 hours, I had a feeling it was going to last like 16. And I knew this was possible, but I didn't think it was possible on 2 tabs. I thought it'd be more possible on 4 tabs. Maybe the LSD was good. Who knows? But as I'm sitting in the house, like I said, the motorcycle's driving by and the sun's coming up, and it's kind of correlating with my thoughts. And I'm starting to feel really shit faced. Like, fuck, what am I gonna do? Like, I told the one other thing that was anchoring me here to leave. Like, I can't talk to my cat because my cat doesn't give a fuck, and he keeps walking away, which is like leading into the loop. So I decide to make the next move. Like, if this house isn't helping, then I'm gonna go outside. And I lived in a condo at a time, so it was like 3 floors. I was on the 2nd floor, and I don't know why I just didn't walk out to the back porch and just like hang out, because I probably would have jumped off and gone wild man or some shit. I'm glad I just took the steps. So I'm headed down the 2 flights of steps to get to the downstairs, and everybody has their own parking spot out front, and it's all numbered. The visitor parking spots are on, like, right behind it, and I was hoping that if I went outside, I would see the motorcycle, or the loop would end. And fortunately, the loop did end, but then another one started, and I think it had a lot to do with what I was thinking about, because I wasn't trying to let what the fuck was going on in my mind go. Like, if I have a problem, I have to solve it. And I've learned to kind of go with the flow so I don't go crazy. But sometimes I'm okay with going crazy because, I mean, who's really sane anyways? So, I make this left, and I'm thinking, and I'm walking, and I'm just trying to puzzle my way through it like a jigsaw. Just what the fuck's going on? How do I get out of this? What do I do? How could I fuck myself up like this? Is this permanent? And I'm doing pretty good. I'm telling myself, like, no, it's just the LSD. It'll wear off. This is all inside of your head. It'll be okay. That kind of nostalgic shit. Well, while I'm doing that, I realize I passed the same van 3 or 4 times. First, I didn't believe it. But then I looked back and realized I'd only taken like 10 steps. And that I was right next to the van I'd passed a couple of times. That part almost made me lose my shit. And instead of losing my shit, I said, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with the trip. I just want this loop to be fucking over. Like, I don't understand right now. I'm done. Like that. done, loop over. And right as I said that, my friend came around the corner skating on the board I gave him, just waving his hand. Hey man, catches up with me, and I start like, I'm a loud guy, so like I'm like, oh my god, you don't understand. I was in this loop. Oh my god, my friend. And he's like, dude, shut the fuck up. We're both still on drugs right now. You need to shut the fuck up. So I'm like, okay, thank you, thank you. So we go back upstairs so that we don't get any more trouble from yelling about LSD out in the fucking open. Head back up the steps, and he rolls up. He's not pissed at me, thank God. I'm really worried about the energies when we're tripping. That's why I usually make sure when I'm tripping with people, we take the tabs at the same time. Because I like, even though everybody's experience is different and individual, sometimes doing that does help. Because, from my experience, it has helped. He's not tripping as hard as I am, and I'm still going on about it. And I can't let it go. I was bad up on it. Like, dude, you gotta understand, I just literally stopped the loop. I've never done that before. Usually I have to just like relax and it just goes away, or I do something differently and it stops. Well, this time, like, I did it. I wanted it to stop, and it did stop. And that's what was throwing me off. But I never forgot the thought that I kind of got me there, which was that when you take images in, they don't come in the way that you're looking at them. They come in like a camera. And I know science isn't always right, so who the fuck knows, really, what is right? But I don't hold on to that thought just for the sake of not wanting to bother him. So I kind of just let it go. We smoke, listen to good music, so we're having a good time. We're both still tripping. And we're not tripping enough not to make bad decisions. So we decide to go on a valley. And on the valley, we decide to, which in where I'm from, a valley is going through the back roads, driving, just smoking and enjoying yourself. We decide to hit up our friend, the tattoo artist, just so we can, have a third party. And we decided to go Pokemon Go hunting or whatever, because that just came out. So we were like super excited, and so was he, because all three of us were stupid Pokemon fans and always have been. And I still always will. I'm level 33, bitch. Even though to some people that's like nothing, but whatever. I we make our way down to where he lives, which is super fucking far. It's like at least an hour away, but thankfully we were already in the valley, so it was only like a 45-minute drive. But I wasn't capable of driving anymore. I was kind of having a bad time driving, because on the way to the valley, I kept feeling like people wanted to run into my car, and I figured it was just because I was tripping, so I didn't want to go back onto the highway. I let Hippie do that, and he drove us to homies, and we all decided to collectively together after tacos that it was a good idea to go up to Main Street, because where I'm from, that's the spot. That was the spot. There was Pokestops every like 3 steps. As you were not gonna not have fun. It's a college town basically. So like there's always people, always cars, always, it doesn't close till like 3 o'clock in the morning. And at this time, when I was done freaking out and doing everything, we didn't get to the tattoo artist until late in the evening. Like, we stretched this shit out. That's what was freaking me out. Like, I was still tripping. My homie was not tripping, and he was confused of why I was still tripping. And I didn't know what was up. I didn't know what my fucking problem was. And it was the thoughts. Like, I just wouldn't stop the thoughts from coming in. I wouldn't stop them from taking over what was happening at the time and being more important than now. Like, right now, physical now. And the weird part was like, how when you're tripping and you're trying to talk to people about something, but subconsciously you can kind of read past their words about how they're trying to get you to just stop, because it's really, it's going they can there's a part of them that can tell it's going to drive you crazy, but they're trying to figure it out too, but it's just like in a different language. Like, it's hard for me to say. I just know I was trying to express something, but they were explaining it through subliminal messaging. And even in my head, I knew this is just subliminal messaging, and I could just be wrong and just putting pieces together that are just absolutely wrong. But I'm gonna keep asking because I feel like you guys are answering my questions. I'm sorry if that doesn't make any sense, but it's what I had. I've had it happen before to my mom when I was after I was done tripping. I went to go talk to her about something that was really paining me about my past, and when I went to go talk to her about it, she was packing up boxes. And instead of when I went to go ask her about the subject, she kind of like beat it around the bush because she was doing something important, but she knew what I had to ask was important. So she was kind of, in a weird way, she was still answering my question, but not. To this day, it still kind of fucks me up because I feel like there's a part of us that's smarter and always there. You know, it's as much as I'm talking to this camera, I could be talking to another individual. I feel like we're speaking on another level that we don't even know about. And that's what I was working on, basically. I was working on that level with people. I was working on a subliminal messaging mode, which I know can sound really crazy to a lot of people. Like, you're just drawing lines to shit. But a lot of it made sense. And a lot of the things they were telling me were to stop. Stop worrying about it. Like, but they weren't doing it like, stop, you motherfucker. Like, they were just like trying to pull me out of the problem they could clearly see I was in, but not in the 4D world we're in, so whatever. So we all make our way to Main Street and we're walking up and down, and I'm still yabbing on about this shit, man. Yabbing, yabba dabba doing about this shit. Because it's just, I'm a thinker, man. I get this shit out. Like, I literally pull at my hair sometimes after I'm done thinking, but this is the part of the story, the climax, that I really wanted to get to. And I'm sorry it lasted 22 minutes. I'd be surprised if anybody fucking watched this video, because 22 minutes, like, I have ADD already. We get to the end of Main Street, and I'm not a drinker, Bobby's not a drinker, and neither is Hippie. We just rather smoke weed. And as we were smoking a joint and passing back and forth from playing Pokemon Go, I realized I had stopped thinking about that thought. Boom. Right back at it. And I was like, fuck that shit. I was like, what is up with that fucking thought? Images come in and go back out. Like, why is it happening that way? Why does nobody care? Why does nobody care about this shit? Why is it happening? Why is the world upside down like a camera and it comes right side up? Why are we able to balance these things out? Why? And as I'm thinking that, the people and the cars on the road stop coming. Now we're on Main Street on a Saturday night, and that's like the pinnacle of like the point of the story. I should have brought that up. But they just stopped coming. And it wasn't that late in the night. Like I said, it was, we picked him up probably after work, after he was done working. He was always super busy as a tattoo artist. And it's freaked me out. But when I told my friend, the tattoo artist, what was happening, he said, just relax. And I was like, all right, I will. And then they came back. But they didn't like walk backwards and like come back in. They literally flowed back in. And I was like, fuck that. I'm doing it again. So I thought about the thought again, and I just started going through it. I went through it harder this time. And this time it happened a lot quicker and a lot harder. It just like, everybody stopped showing up. Everything stopped happening. I stopped hearing the noise. I stopped hearing the cars. I stopped seeing the people, except the dude to the left of me and the dude to the right of me. We were sitting down, just playing Pokemon Go, and that was it. There was nobody else around. But the thing was, my focus was on the thought. So my attention was like here. Like, my attention was like here. So I wasn't seeing too hard on the peripherals. I just knew that this shit was real and it was happening. And I brought it up to Bobby again because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. And he looked at me and said, dude, just relax. And of course I did, and the people showed back up. And that's basically the end of the story. And to this day, I don't know what the fuck happened, why it happened. I mean, of course, I think it's my brain, but I've never been caught in a time loop that bad where I felt like I took over like 50, 60, 100 steps, but instead I've only taken 10. And to the point where people and cars stop appearing on a main road, a road where people constantly go down. There's only 3 street lights, and there's only a couple of turns, so people have to come down this road. It's a main road for college. Like, it's all the bars, and it leads straight through all the extra classes and courses everybody can fucking take to. People live above the bars. It's Saturday night. Like, it just blows my mind. And something else that happened was I told you about that sun piece that I was wearing around my neck at the time. Um, that was something that was helping me remain anchored, and I was thinking about a special someone at that time. We hadn't talked just yet, but we had been talking, and she ended up breaking up with her boyfriend. I'm pretty sure around that time. It was that day, because the next day after that, so like 3 days, and now it passed. She hit me up to go on a valley ride. So I don't know if that was a correlation or not, but I just add that part in because we ended up having a 3-year relationship after that. And like, there was definitely something special about her that kind of kept me down to this earth. I mean, we're not together anymore, and I'm not talking to my friend Hippie, and this is turning into a half an hour. So hopefully people just speed through and say, fuck you, man. I just got to the point of this story. I'll see you later. So I really wish you guys the best on your trips, and I hope you wish me better in my cinematography skills, because they were trash.